guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my May TBR. I'm not going to do a Bookopoly this month, and the reason for that is because I think I'm just going to do a Bookopoly whenever I need some like inspiration on what to read. Like if I'm ever in a rut and I'm like, okay, what's going to get me out? Let me roll something. Then I think that's when I'm going to use it. But I have a lot of books that I want to read this month. And so I'm just going to add them to my TBR and get to them when I get to them. The first two books that I'm going to be reading this month are Siege and Storm and Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. These are the second and third books in the Shadow and Bone trilogy. And I've already read Shadow and Bone. I read that last month. And I read that because I wanted to watch the show. And so the first book is about this young woman who has this power that she's had her whole life. I had no idea. And she's what they call the Sun Summoner, who kind of brings and gives faith to a lot of Grisha and people in Ravka, which is the country that they're in. The Fold is this huge, dark, shadowy land that was created by what's called the Black Heretic, and it's full of terrible monsters, and it's just complete darkness. It's very hard to get through, and she has the power to destroy it. Now, I'm not 100% sure where these are going to go. I know we get some more like new characters in this book, so I'm very excited about that. I love introducing new characters. Shadow and Bone has some good twists, has some good turns, and I really enjoyed it. I gave that one 4 stars, so I'm hoping that these two can get 5 stars from me. So I'm very excited about that. Now, after those two, I want to read another 2 books. The first is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and the second is A Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. And when I've seen Six of Crows around much longer than I've seen Shadow and Bone. I had wanted to read it for quite a while. It's been on my TBR for a long time, but I've just never read it. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of judged the book by its cover because it said crows. I didn't want to read a book about crows. I don't know. It's not really about crows. I mean, they're called crows. After watching the first season of Shadow and Bone, I really want to read Six of Crows because I didn't realize that the show was going to be a kind of crossover between the 2 books. So these books are all set in the Grishaverse. Shadow and Bone is, and so is Six of Crows, and they're all set in the same world. And while one is happening, so is the other. And Shadow and Bone in that story is happening on the east side of the Fold. Six of Crows is happening on the west side of the Fold. So they're happening at the same time, which is really interesting. And so as I watched the show, I realized, wow, I actually really like these characters and I like what's happening. There's just this group of people. There's a criminal, there's a sharpshooter, there's a spy, there's a wraith, there's a heartrender. And they're just kind of working together to pull off this heist that will win them a lot of money. Like a lot of money. So that's kind of their purpose. But it's just, their 2 are so connected. It's so stinking good. And so I want to read them. Six of Crows and A Crooked Kingdom are a duology, so it won't take terribly too long. So I'm actually really excited, and I want to read those right after I finish Shadow and Bone because that's stinking exciting. Okay, done with that series. On to the next book I want to read. I don't know if it'll happen next or when it'll happen, but I want to read Mistborn by Sanderson. I've wanted to read this for quite a while. I've kind of been intimidated by it because it's like 600 and something pages, which I mean isn't a lot for me, but it's high fantasy and it's going to be kind of, I don't know, it just intimidates me for some reason. However, I've heard nothing bad about this series. Everyone that's read this that I've heard of has enjoyed it. So I'm actually really excited about it. I don't know anything about it really, just that there is a heroine who partners with some criminal mastermind and that there's this Lord Ruler who kind of rules over everything. But that's all I know. So I'm pretty excited about it. I haven't gotten to it yet, and I'm hoping to get to it this month. Also, the size of this book and like the way the pages are, I don't know, there's something about it. I just really like holding it. I don't know why. It's kind of weird. Okay. Another book I want to read. is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I read Uprooted and was a little like, by it, but it was really good. It was actually really good. And this one I actually saw first and kind of added it to my TBR after I watched a couple books video. I don't even remember what video it was, but he mentioned this book and I was like, okay, that sounds really good. It's kind of like a retelling of Rumpelstiltskin, which is really interesting. I picked this up from a thrift store, and it's a book of the month one, which is kind of cool. It's from like July 2018. Yeah, which is really cool. And so I'm actually kind of glad to have this copy. I think it's awesome. But I'm having higher hopes for this one than I did for Uprooted. So I'm gonna try to read this one this month. I'm really excited about it. Okay, there's one or two more books I would like to read this month. I don't know if I will get to them, but I really want to read. Hang on, I gotta figure out who the author is. The first book I want to read is The Wrath and the Dawn, and then the second one I want to read is The Rose and the Dagger. And these, I think they're a duology. I don't think there's any more. These are by Renée Ahdieh. Ahdieh? I'm sorry, I'm so bad with names. But the reason I want to read this is because I've been reading The Wrath and the Dawn on Webtoons for a year and a half about. And I've just really loved it. And once I found out it was a book, I was like, okay, I actually really, really, really want to read the book. And so that's why I want to do it. And then I found out there's a second one. I was like, okay, I need to really read it. And the webtoon just kicked back up again and came out with the second half. And so I know what happens, but I want to read it in book form. So those are books I really want to read. I absolutely love it. It's enemies to lovers. It's just so good. I love it. But I really like reading the webtoon because the images are stunning, and it's just, the author did a really, really good job of just portraying the story, and I am obsessed with it, and so I want to read that really bad. Okay, those are all the books I want to read in May, and those are, let's see, how many were there? 2, 2, 2, and 2. I gotta recount. 2, 2, 2, and 2. 8 books. And I think I can do it because I hit 10 in April, so it's gonna be pretty awesome. What books are you guys reading in May? I would love to know. Leave a comment down below with what you're reading or what you want to read, and I would love to see that from you guys. And that's all I've got for you, so please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!